me take you back to a time when life wasn't so pleasant in Jacksonville, when people of color didn't have it made to the extent that they have it made today, when public school teachers couldn't try on a hat they were going to buy at Coin Brothers, not May Coins, but Coin Brothers department store. When black women couldn't try on shoes, they had to know the size of their feet. They couldn't try on shoes in stores that would gladly accept their money for just about anything else they wanted to buy. I want to tell you the story about Sallye Mathis, who, as a public school teacher, could not overtly attack those problems, but she knew that those problems could be solved. And so she supported efforts to eliminate racism and discrimination in the city of Jacksonville. During the time of the sit-in demonstrations in Jacksonville in the 1960s, Sallye Mathis organized the teachers of Duval County and got them to eliminate any purchases, to turn in their charge cards at Coin Brothers department store, because the N.A.A.C.P youth council was demonstrating and couldn't be served lunch at Coin Brothers lunch counters. School teachers couldn't get actively involved in those kind of campaigns, and I think you can understand why. Nearly all black people in Jacksonville worked for white folks. If they were involved in any of the kind of direct action that the N.A.A.C.P Youth Council was involved in, they would be immediately terminated. So of course, it was easy for them for some of them to sit back and say, well, I can't risk my job getting involved with them, so I'll just leave it alone. Sallye didn't do that. She said, there's something we can do. There's a part that we can all play. As long as we spend our money in these places, they're going to continue to deny us the same rights given to all of their customers until we decide to do something about it. We can't sit at the lunch counters with these young people. We can at least support them by withdrawing our business from these stores. So Sallye helped us in that way. She helped us to break down the barriers of discrimination in that way. But if you just imagine the depths from which we came to the point where we are now, it is like night and day. And we thank people like Sallye Mathis and her organizing. Let me talk to you about what I consider to be one of the most important contributions that Sallye made to the city of Jacksonville. We all think about her political career. We all thank her for consolidation. We thank her for her service on the city council. But the majority of the black community and the majority of members of the white community, unfortunately, are not upper middle class people. Most of them are low income people. Many have children who have completed the Head Start programs, the Parent Child Center. Many have been involved in foster grandparent programs. Many have been confronted with problems with drug abuse and have been afforded treatment offered by drug counseling programs, namely Gateway Human Services in Jacksonville. Well, I name all of those programs because had it not been for Sallye Mathis, most of them wouldn't exist. And most people don't know that. So when you talk about services that are enjoyed by the majority of the people of this city, services that they have no idea where they came from. It is because Lou Ritter knew the power of this great woman whom we are here to learn and admire and respect today. As a result of those efforts, we got funded. What is now Gateway Human Services is a program that was started by GJEO, Sallye Mathis's favorite program. The Head Start program, GJEO, Sallye Mathis. We had the Parent-Child Center, job training programs, the Foster Grandparent Program, Neighborhood Youth Corps, programs that gave people an opportunity to work themselves out of poverty, not a hand out, but a hand up. And those were the kind of efforts that this woman championed, and that she felt that every citizen of the city of Jacksonville had a right to. Most people don't know that Sallye Mathis was the mother of the anti-poverty program here in the city of Jacksonville. The bloodiest day in the city of Jacksonville was August 27th, 1960, which was Axe Handle Day in Jacksonville. When we did the Axe Handle demonstration, a large number of us were beaten with axe handles and baseball bats and that sort of thing. When we got to the hospital, the first person we saw was Sallye Mathis. Sallye was there because she had heard that a number of the youngsters had gotten hurt. And when we left the hospital, it was Sallye who helped arrange for a group of people to drive around the city looking for other youngsters who hadn't showed up yet to be sure that everyone was going to be all right. So she was a tremendous supporter, of course, during the civil rights to what was called the Lincoln Golf and Country Club, when the Medical, Dental, and Pharmaceutical Association Black Group were having their meeting to collect bail money so that she could bail us out of jail when we was arrested. Why people of goodwill wouldn't simply come to the fore and do that on their own, I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. After Ms. Mathis had a conversation with them, they came forward. You can believe they came forward, and they poured out money to help us in our pursuit. And you knew if you wanted to get something done, you called on Sallye Mathis. Lou Ritter was friends of the Kennedy family, so he enticed Sergeant Schreiber, who was John Kennedy's brother-in-law, to come to Jacksonville. And Sallye and Lou Ritter escorted Sergeant Schreiber around Jacksonville to show him the decrepit conditions in which black people were living. She took him up to City Hall and took him to a window and said, now if you look right down there, that's the black neighborhood. And those little small, the tiny little houses you see down there, she said, those are not houses. Those are outhouses in the backyards of these Negro citizens of Jacksonville, and you've got to do something about it. As a result of the efforts of Lou Ritter and Sallye Mathis, Jacksonville was funded with the program that was later to become Greater Jacksonville Economic Opportunity Program. As a result of that program, many of the city's most successful social services programs that they operate to this day came out of that organization. The Foster Grandparent Program, the Senior Citizen Program, probably one of the finest programs still in existence in the city today is the Head Start Program. All of those programs are programs that came out of GJEO, which would not have been possible had it not been for Sallye Mathis.
We're the only consolidated city in the state of Florida. Everybody else you go to, if you go to Fort Lauderdale, you got a city and you got a county. You go to Miami, I don't know how many you got down there. And then they have a county, and then they got all these different municipalities. West Palm Beach, Tampa, Tallahassee, Orlando, St. Pete, you name it. They have a county in the city. We're the only one. So when Mayor Brown speaks, he speaks for everybody. The mayor has, they're still trying to figure out what happened and how it happened. I meet people all the time who grew up here, can't believe it, that we turned the corner. I mean, sometime when I'm out with him, I was at a football game, Jaguar game. A white guy came up and said, "Mr. Mayor, I didn't vote for you, but you're doing a hell of a good job." And so it's been exciting, but again, we could have not done that without Sallye Mathis. We have a saying on the waterfront when I used to work on the dock. The table was set, all we had to do is come up to meet. She set the table. And so that's why I wanted to be here today and present a proclamation from the mayor, so you can put it in your archives that truly we know that she made an impact. The archives are down at City Hall where we can go and read where she made an impact. And I'm glad to know that this Friday, even though I can't be with you on Friday, I thought it was going to be on Thursday. I had it blocked, but I'll be out of town. But to let the students know, and the ones who've done these essays know the importance. Because if I said it once, I said it twice. You can't be what you can't see. And if we don't tell the story,
that's right.
You cannot be what you can't see. And I want to make sure the story is told. And that's why we push for that civil rights. I mean, we had the guys, we had the folks in the legislature, some of my colleagues, said, "Well, why we got to have a Civil Rights Hall of Fame?" I said, "Why you got a Women's Hall of Fame? Why you got an Agriculture Hall of Fame?" And I just called the list off. See, because I know they were going to come with that, so I had my list. I called about 20 things that we do. We have the Citrus Hall of Fame. I mean, we got so many Hall of Fames over there, unbelievable. And I said, the same reason why you got those Hall of Fames, the same reason why we have, because we would not be sitting in this chamber with these, some of you who all are millionaires, had it not been for people like Mrs. Mathis.
Okay, to celebrate the life of Miss Sallye B. Mathis, 1912-1982. Whereas God, the creator of all, in his infinite wisdom, has smiled down upon Sallye Mathis, a longtime resident of Jacksonville, Florida, esteemed alumni of Florida A&M University. And whereas Sallye Mathis did postgraduate studies in education at Florida A&M University, was also a graduate of Bethune-Cookman College, now BCU, and the Tuskegee Institute. And whereas Sallye Mathis had a 28-year career teaching elementary school and high school history in the Duval County school system, and was a successful businesswoman, partnering with her husband, Oscar Earl Mathis. Because of this, the local N.A.A.C.P chapter gives an annual community service award named the Sallye B. Mathis Award. Just as impressive, the Sallye B. Mathis Elementary School in Jacksonville is named in her honor. Whereas Sallye Mathis was one of the first women and African Americans elected to the Jacksonville City Council in 1967, she was a civil rights activist and a member of the League of Women Voters. During her tenure on the council, Ms. Mathis initiated legislation for a Citizens Police Review Board, less restrictive voter registration rights, equal pay for teachers, free public restrooms, equal job opportunities in public agencies, and fought for reduced bus fares for senior citizens. And whereas Sallye Mathis' legacy is preserved and well honored, thanks in part to the diligence of her loving niece, Brooke Stevens, and therefore be it resolved that the Florida A&M University National Alumni Association and the Office of Alumni Affairs honors the legacy of Sallye Mathis. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be submitted to the family and that a copy be retained for the university files. Humbly submitted, Florida A&M University National Alumni Association, Tommy Mitchell, President.
And so when I got the call and was informed about the celebration that was going to go on this week, I knew that it was something that I had to be a part of, because Sallye Mathis has touched my life in many ways. In 1967, when she was elected, I hadn't been born yet. I was born in '68. But I did have the pleasure of going to Forest Hills, which is now Sallye Mathis Elementary School. She was as an alumnus of Florida A&M University, my pride and joy. And then to be able to say that I served on the city council where she served, I just kind of joy that you felt it was appropriate to invite me to share with you this morning. And so the tribute that I have says, whereas Sallye Mathis was born May 18, 1912, and whereas Sallye B. Mathis graduated with a degree from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, and whereas Sallye B. Mathis enjoyed 28 years of career teaching in Duval County Public Schools, where she taught elementary school students and high school history at Matthew Gilbert High School, and her service was recognized by the naming of Sallye B. Mathis Elementary School in her honor. Whereas Sallye B. Mathis was a successful businesswoman in partnership with her husband, O. Earl Mathis, was a civil rights activist and member of the League of Women Voters. In 1967, she was elected as one of the first African American women to the Jacksonville City Council. Whereas while serving on the City Council, Sallye B. Mathis initiated legislation for the Citizens Police Review Board, free public toilets, equal job opportunities in public agencies, job training programs, and fought for reduced bus fares for seniors. Whereas Sallye B. Mathis was active for many years in the N.A.A.C.P, leading voter registration initiatives and organizing local events, and her commitment to these causes are continuing to be honored as an award is given in her name each year. Whereas Sallye B. Mathis died in 1982 at the age of 70, but her work still lives on, and her legacy will forever be with us. Whereas on May 18, 2012, the Jacksonville Urban League will celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of Sallye B. Mathis with a commemorative ceremony in her honor. Be it respectfully proclaimed that the constituents of District 14 praise and pause to celebrate the life and legacy of this honorable woman. Signed, Representative L.Jones. Thank you so very much for having me.
The Sallye B. Mathis Community Service Award is given by the Jacksonville branch N.A.A.C.P to a community citizen who has done outstanding works in the community in the past year for the citizens. And we look in all areas of the community to find somebody who is doing good works in honor of Mrs. Mathis. We've been given the award over 30 years, I'm sure. I don't recall exactly when it started, but it's been given a long time. And several outstanding community persons have received that award. To my knowledge, I know Dr. Annette Gerardo, Senator Tony Hill, Dr. James Sampson, Attorney Leslie Goyer, Reverend Wallace Raspberry. Those are among the few that I recall lately. And Dr. Alvin White have received them. So these persons have done outstanding works in the community. One thing we all know that she was a very classy lady who always dressed very impeccably and expected you, especially ladies, to act like ladies. That was her thing. Act like you're a lady, like you're supposed to be there. That's what I really remember about her. And she was always concerned about others, caring for the well-being of others. But being a classy person was really her calling.
First of all, I want to thank Mrs. Stevens for putting this long overdue tribute to Sallye Mathis, councilwoman, first African-American councilwoman in Jacksonville. When I received the award some years ago, sort of on some of the same commitments that she made over the years, Mine mostly was in the state legislature, changing the state constitution to raise the minimum wage in Florida, where we indexed it. So every year we would have an economic study done, and if there's an increase in the gross domestic product here in Florida, or the income level goes up in Florida, then people minimum wage will go up automatically. And so I think that some of the things that she fought for to try to bring equities and to bring parity where there were none. And so it's a thrill to receive that award, knowing that she blazed the trail for so many nameless and faces of people that probably you and I could not even name, that she made things possible for when she served on the city council here in Jacksonville. So it's a proud honor to be one of the recipients and to carry on that legacy for a woman who moved like a giant across the breadth and length of this city and around the state of Florida. So again, kudos to her, and I know that when the judges and the folks look over through probably a plethora of individuals who are trying to be in the Civil Rights Hall of Fame, which was another project that we did in the legislature. We sponsored that in the Senate and put it in place last year. The first inaugural group went in last year. The governor the committee will select 10 and the governor will pick 3. And then they will be enshrined in the Capitol. In fact, it's the first Civil Rights Hall of Fame in a state capitol in the country. So it's a proud honor to be interviewed on behalf of Ms. Mathis and the work that she did here in Jacksonville. And I look forward to seeing her face up on that wall in Tallahassee when I go over from time to time for the ceremony. Thank you.
Principal today. My name is Michelle Cross. I'm the principal of Sallye Mathis, and I have to say I am honored to be the principal of such a dynamic and talented school. Today is a special day because our school was given the name of Sallye Mathis, and I have to say, in researching and the background and the history of Sallye Mathis, it is just a true pleasure for us to have our school named after such a wonderful woman. She did so many dynamic and outstanding things for our community, and she continues to inspire our students as well as our school and community. So thank you for helping us to celebrate her birthday this evening. And also, I would like for Ms. Brooks to stand. Ms. Brooks is Sallye Mathis's niece, so let's give her a hand.
I'm so happy to see this performance. It's absolutely awesome to see all this energy and all the joy that these kids have put into this. There's so much hard work behind it, but I'm happy to see that they are enthusiastic about learning about somebody who is a wonderful role model for them to know about. So many schools are named for people that nobody really understands or learns about, but she is somebody that I think they will always remember because of the hard work they've done and the wonderful essays they've written that I've read.
All I can say is my heart has been very full. Last night I was just ecstatic and in tears to see 150 children on stage singing "Happy Birthday." And that warms my heart to see that the legacy is being passed on. She's not being forgotten. I'm excited to know that my passion, my sense of stubbornness, the hereditary family trait that has pushed me forward and kept me going, as Mr. Yates said, there can be a mean streak in her. Thank you so much for not being intimidated by me, for getting on the bandwagon and really seeing what I saw, discovering what I remembered, and reconnecting, which is the most important part, to a history that still propels us forward. And it also shows us how much more we still have to do, how much more work there is. But she laid out a path and a plan for us. And I believe that if you look around and see how many young black women are now building political careers, how many are taking their place in public service careers, and how many are doing what she started doing, then her life wasn't in vain. And the sacrifices she made have been worth it. And I think what makes me happy is to realize that even though she did not have children of her own, I was blessed to be one of the surrogate children. And all of you have in your own way benefited from the nurturing spirit that she brought to everything that she did, whenever she got involved and committed to something. Because the one thing I did remember about her, not only the discipline, but the love and the loyalty behind whatever she supported. She wouldn't let you stop. And she was proudest of you whenever you achieved something. And if you fell down along the way, she would also be there to help you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.